welcome to this very special episode of the Experience Podcast. My name is Neil, and I am a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. With me today is two very special people.
I'm James Parkhurst. I'm just here to share my voice.
And my name is Dennis, and I'm very excited for today. We're going to talk about some very interesting topics. And would you mind sharing a little bit of your story, James? Kind of maybe a little bit of background where you come from, and we'll get right into the podcast from there.
Yeah. I was born in Indianapolis. Grew up Syracuse. Went to Wawasee High School and had a good life. And I got to my teens, got in a little bit of trouble. I did some time. That was where a lot of my levelness and open mind comes from. I had a lot of personal experiences with myself. So things got really deep. I had nobody to run to. It was just me working out my stuff. So through those years, it was, very progressive, and I learned a lot from that. But I'm here today. I feel so good. I love life. I swear to you, I love it. So it's all good vibes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So after so later on in your life, what are you doing currently, or what did you do maybe before your current job, and how do you make money, or how do you provide for yourself?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It was actually, it was actually right after that is when I figured out, what I got to do to get myself that next step. Not saying that next step is going to be where I need to be, but that next step is, getting me into those steps. So, I was in factories for a long time, and I got out of those and realized that the only way for me to keep my progressive, upgrade is to take on my own business and invest what I had into that, whatever, was kind of money I put into it and built it. And I do a landscaping business. It's about everything.
So how many years were you working at the RV factory?
I don't know, probably 5, 6, yeah.
Okay.
6 years, yeah.
You know what I think is incredible is I heard a guy would say one time, this was at a seminar, and he said, kings don't plant seeds in other people's fields. Kings plant seeds in their own field. And that's why I got a lot of respect for you, is I know that you're planting seeds in your own field, because you know that that's the only thing that's going to get you to where you need to go.
Yeah, in a sense, because a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot, there's, people out there that get that shouldn't necessarily have that seed. Somebody that, builds that and gets that seed themselves, they have that power to say, you get this seed. Those are the people that, are building that for the right, reason. And I understand that what you're saying is
what you meant there is if somebody that was super wealthy would hand their wealth down to their kids without them really having to earn it.
Right.
Is that what you meant by that?
I mean, in a sense, as in people have a lot of power for no reason. Sure. And they don't use it how they should. So maybe that is saying, I'm going to have this seed because I know where I'm going to direct it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. In a way. Yeah.
Sort of I feel like kind of what you're getting at is earning your way to the things that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, in a sense, because if you say, I'm going to put my seed over here and put my seed over here, there's no way that you can kind of hone in on that, or that's kind of just their thing now, but if you have the seeds and you do the planting and you do the
the nurturing
Yeah,
and growing
yeah,
of what you planted.
yeah. Then you could push that in the right light rather than being like seeds for everybody, kind of thing. Yeah.
And when you do the seeds for everybody kind of thing, where's the seeds for yourself?
Exactly.
And now harvest time comes, and now everybody's got the seeds in the harvest, but where's your harvest? So that was a pretty that was a great analogy. I really liked how you brought that about. So getting into like how we perceive others, what did you learn about perception in those years that you worked in the RV factory, or like how others perceive you, or even how you perceive other people?
Well, I've had a big struggle in my life, man. I've had my biggest one of my biggest struggles. I'm sorry about that. I think is people taking me the wrong way, or I'm coming off the wrong way. That's a huge deal for me, man. There's been a lot of points in my life where somebody, just by my tone thinks I'm yelling at them. I have a strong tone. So and a lot of my life has been me trying to figure out ways, even though I know my heart and I know what I meant, I try to figure out another way to present or to talk or to go at somebody to make sure that they know I didn't mean anything other than what I meant. You know what I mean? And so my perception is just trying to word myself right and kind of keep myself in line and know what would set you off if I said it the wrong way, or something like that kind of is what I kind of picked up, is just trying to weed out the bad, not even necessarily the bad that I know about, because there's stuff in your life you could probably be doing wrong and you don't realize that you're doing it wrong, and you probably wouldn't be doing it. But that's when other people say, hey, you're a little too cocky today, man. Or something like that.
Right.
And then you say, shit, I see that.
It's that insight that's coming from the outside, where you're so in the situation, so in the middle of it, that it's like you don't even see yourself. But then this person on the outside can just be like, hey, like, this is what you're doing, and then it's like a realization. You're like, oh my gosh, I can see it now. I
swear to you, and that's what I went through a couple times, man. I was like, I thought I just was doing the right thing, and didn't. No, it's not that way.
So, do you think those were good times, or that's a good thing, right? When people give you that insight.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
Because I know for me, I know I do it all the time too. So when somebody brings that to my awareness, it's like, I want to try to be humble enough that I can receive the lesson, instead of just pushing it off and
getting frustrated.
Yeah. Right.
And being like, that's not how I am. No, you got to say, okay, well, let me see how
what your perception is of how I am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Going back to what you were talking about with, adjusting your tone or how you talk to people, or, so you don't come across as a certain way. I strongly feel like, we should just be ourselves, and, like, other people's perception of how we be ourselves is their perception. And it doesn't even have any merit on our situation, essentially. So I just wanted to bring that forward, because I feel like it's important to just, rather than trying to conform to how you want someone to see you, just be yourself, and how they see you is how they see you.
I think there's a fine line between that and possibly changing habits, or being humble to see that different perception or that different perspective.
Yes.
Not saying that you're willing to change yourself, or but keeping an open mind.
Yes, That's a really good point. I like that.
Mhm.
But I think it goes right hand in hand with what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So far
as like if somebody were to be like, hey, dude, are you aware that you're doing this way? To where you can have that discernment of, do I stay me as me, or do I take that different perspective and change a little bit of my character or a little bit of my habits
Sure.
to better improve myself?
Okay, so I do have something to continue with on that
Okay,
thought
sure.
process. And it's sort of like the what is the thing that makes you you? It's not your thoughts, it's not your emotions, and it's not your body. The thing that makes you you is your awareness. So when someone brings this up to you, like, hey, like you're being this way, and like it's coming off as this, and they bring it up to you, the awareness within you can look at that and process that information and decide if they're making an accurate statement or if they're coming from a place within themselves, from a place of hurt, from a place of resentment, from a place of pride. The awareness within you, the awareness, is able to like discern that, I feel like. Whereas the you that's just trying to, if you think of yourself as, let's say, your thoughts or your emotions, when someone brings that up and you like feel emotional, or you feel thoughts that come up about this person, well, those aren't you. And it's so now, like you were saying, like we can make adjustments. So like, let's say we change our thought patterns because of how this was presented to us from like an outside viewer. We change our thought patterns, we can change that and still be us. We can change our thought patterns and still be you, because you're not your thoughts, you're the awareness of it. So in that sense, you can make those adjustments, still be yourself in your power of your awareness, and become a better version of yourself through that process.
That's kind of how I felt.
But you're not changing you, the essence of you. You're just changing these maybe thought pattern adjustments, or maybe feeling a different emotion that you were currently feeling when they brought that up. So, but essentially you're still you after that.
Yeah, that was very well said. And I think when we do that, well, I'm just gonna backtrack a little bit. There was a point in my life when I was in my younger 20s where I was very attached to my thoughts and my feelings. So for me had I been in my early 20s hearing this, I would have been like, whoa. So I don't remember where I was going with this, but take it away from there. Hopefully I can remember what I was going to say.
Do you have something to add to that?
Well, I was just thinking about it, but you pretty much said what I was kind of along the lines.
Okay, I remember what I was going to say now. So when we are very attached to our thoughts and emotions, we are creators, right? So in order to be the creators to create to our full potential, being in that awareness state and not being attached to our thoughts and feelings, we create more effortlessly, and we go through our daily lives more in a flow state rather than bouncing from thought and emotion all over the fucking place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people, they're like, they're so big on either they're limiting themselves or hiding themselves because, either they fear of, picking up something from somebody else and not realizing that they now do that within themselves, whether it be a laugh or a word they say or something like that. And so many people are just like, are doing that, they're here, they're this person, they're 20 different people in one, and I think what we, and I'm not saying they're wrong for that, it's not technically their fault, but
Right.
the people that are awake to it and see that can direct your life with just by, that of what you take in and what you do with it. Because you can learn so much. There's so much right there.
Right.
Oh my God.
And so like continue on the thought process of like when you like what you can learn from that.
What?
From where you were just coming from, like what you can learn from those situations essentially.
You said what I can learn from them. Yeah, just I don't know. I mean, I can think back to a couple of times in my life where even in past relationships, which I technically don't want to bring up, but just in the heat of the moment, saying that's not how it was, or that's not how I feel, but it's bad. But then going back within yourself and saying, okay, where did I go wrong? Let's figure out if they have some kind of logic or there's some kind of truth to what, this person is saying, and being like, I'm not just going to be like, you're wrong. I'm right. I am so open-minded and so grown. No matter what it is, I'm going to take that in and I'm going to do my analyzing.
So what you just said there is so very, very important about how you take in information and then you do your analyzing.
Yeah.
Because so many people, they take in information and it's a fact.
And then
There's
they
no
react.
analyst
I
process
swear.
going on.
I swear.
They see the information that's presented. The information goes in the brain, and it's in the brain as the information that was presented.
Yeah.
There is no analysis that even goes into the thought
Exactly.
process. But when you now receive information, you analyze the information and you decide if it resonates with you or if it doesn't resonate with you based on how you feel about the information you've received. Now you step into your own power and you start creating from the information you've received rather than creating from just pure information. There's no being behind that that's even doing any processing. There's just
Reaction.
there's information received and then there's an output based on information received.
That right?
It's like a computer that you just type a code in and then the computer runs.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you just said right there is the solution to everything that's going on in the world right now. Because the majority of humanity is like lemmings running off a cliff. Whereas if we would take all the information that is available about certain subjects and we'd analyze and decipher and discern that information and then make decisions based on that, we would have a totally different, and it's changing, but we would have a totally different outcome.
Literally, like the awakening is going mainstream right now.
Yeah.
There is players in the NBA that are refusing to take the vaccine. There is celebrities that are no longer, they're saying they don't know the safety of the vaccine, therefore they'd rather not take it. So the awakening that's happening right now is going mainstream, and there's nothing this cabal and elite can do about it. It's already at that level. And that's how big this awakening is that is going on currently, right now.
We got a little bit off topic there.
I would say it's right on point.
It is right on point, but
How do you feel about I guess I'm gonna ask James, how do you feel about honesty in your personal life? How has it affected you when you've been honest, and how has it affected you when you've been dishonest? Personally.
I can go way back with that one to start, but I don't know. That was a big thing in my life that I came over about 5 years ago, is realizing what is the truth and what isn't the truth. Just simple as that. So I would go over to my friends and say, dude, my truck, it just went like 190 on the freeway. Should have seen it. Passed 5 cops. They didn't even touch me. That was probably all a lie. I went like 120, and like maybe the cop was pointing the other way, but there's not 5 of them. Like, so stretching that story and adding a bunch of stuff in it, which we don't realize, but that's a lie. That is a lie, because what that does when you continuously do that, which I've done, and I thought like this.
Me too.
When you continuously say all this stuff to impress others, it's gonna teach you that that's okay. That stretching the story or not directly telling what happened is going to, over time, it's gonna take over your mind. Just like when you drink a little bit here, drink a little bit here, you're gonna want to drink a little bit more here, and you're not gonna realize it's bad to do it here. It's like, when you see, like, you're flipping in a magazine, when you see the same cologne or the same brand in a magazine, you're probably gonna end up buying that cologne one day. You're gonna subconsciously, unconsciously think about that cologne sometimes, because it's put in your brain so many times. So I feel like with that, I had a lot of obstacles in my life, and even had people call me out. And then I went through something, and this lady said, just try it. She said, try it for like this weekend. It was a Friday. Try it till Sunday, Monday. And she said, don't say one lie. Don't say one breath of anything other than what actually happened. Man, and I did it. Did it over the weekend, did a great job. Monday came around, and she asked me, she was like, how was that? Did you actually follow through with it? You just be honest with me. And I was like, no, I did it. I went through it. I told some stories about my past and tried to keep it on point. And I told her, I said, I didn't. I don't think about that conversation, what he might hear next time about what I said and think that I was lying about it. I said, I really feel whole about this weekend. Like, nobody can tell me that I did anything wrong. I was just real and honest. And it was just like, and I started putting that in my everyday life. Every day. And I have my mistakes. Everybody does. I've messed up, but as in a whole, with honesty, you have to be 100% with honest. You can't half-ass it.
Do you feel like that was liberating when you implemented honesty into your life?
Say that again.
Do you feel like it was liberating? As far as you mentioned the fact that when you went through that weekend of doing these certain practices or habits, you felt more whole after that.
It changed my life.
So you're saying that felt very liberating, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
By far. If I could meet that woman today and know her name, oh my God.
So she was like an angel that was sent your way.
Literally.
Damn.
She was just amazing. Like, try this out, do this. And I was like, okay, whatever,
Wow.
Didn't have an open mind about it, but I liked her. She was cool, so I just figured I'd, accept her words, you know what I mean? And give it a shot.
Fuck yeah.
I'm glad she was good looking, because I listened and it worked. And it worked, man. It really did, on a positive note. It really did.
That's
man.
incredible.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there is karma attached to honesty? Like, so the people that go throughout their lives, do you feel like they have certain karma because of the lies that they keep spreading? Is there a certain cause and effect that comes with not being honest?
I was thinking of a thing when you said that, and so I think, because I was just thinking of a situation of what would make sense about that, and as if, like, say I'm going around saying all these things to people and how fast this is and how hot my girlfriend is and all this, and what if somebody actually meets my girlfriend one day and she's not that, the biggest deal, whatever, or if somebody sees my truck and there's not red interior or turbo exhaust, then those people, they think, okay, this guy is not the truthful person. We're not really going to be around him or help him. Next thing you know, there's karma coming in. You wanted to hang out with a group of people, and now they, heard that you bullshitted about your truck last week and don't want to be around somebody that's going to lie like that.
Sure.
So,
And on that note, I think, just in hindsight of my own life, I think it's been beneficial for me to not say certain things, rather than open my mouth and spread little white lies. It's better to be silent, because I feel like in that sense I own my own power.
Well, it's like you're becoming the awareness when you step into the silence.
Okay.
Like the awareness of your being.
Sure. Okay, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
It'd be literally like sitting and watching a flower and not thinking about the flower, not necessarily feeling the flower, not necessarily feeling, well, you would be probably feeling your body, but just being the awareness, watching the flower, not having any thoughts about it, not feeling any emotions about it, just literally observing it is what I would say is the awareness, the essence of your being.
Interesting.
Because now your thoughts come in, now your emotions come in, and now you're a little bit a step away from your being.
See, with that, I feel like I've come in a lot of, even guy to guy talk, or, guys we talk, and, you might say, and I know I'm kind of throwing off, but you might say you like a certain team, and I might say, I could either be like, forget that team and all that, or, I could kind of keep that in my head and, just, why, you got a, quarterback, and a lot of that. And it's like almost not being against what somebody says or going with it, but as in like, keeping your negative input or your, unmeaningless, opposition against somebody, and just, what I mean? Keeping that in here and be willing to.
That is true power. That is true power right there.
Yeah,
Sure.
It is, man. I've been at a lot. I'm thinking in my head, I don't really like that.
Because you're also using your will, I feel, to not respond in a negative.
And that's not lying. That's not being dishonest. That's not nothing. They know how I feel, but for me to shut down what they're saying and put on what I'm saying, that's like selfish or some kind of word for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that also would, if you'd put their team down, it would also be judging them in order to give your team a credit.
Yeah,
I feel,
and that's what goes back to what we were saying.
Yeah. I feel like it's like a judgmental type thing, to where because you feel like you don't like what this person is doing, you're judging them. So when you open your mouth and try to fix what they're doing or say something better than what they're doing, you're coming from a place of judgment as you're talking.
Yeah.
So now they want to judge you back.
Where does that put us? Nowhere.
Correct. Rather than when you observe something that doesn't align with your values or your principles, just literally observe it, let it be, and it might get worse. But you know what? That's on that individual. It is not your, it's not your, it isn't within your ability, but it's, how do I word this? Basically, like, it's not your obligation to help that person. If they come and ask you for help, now you're kind of obligated to help them. But to just come from a place of judgment to try to help someone is not your obligation, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's just run a scenario here. So let's say like, so I'm doing something that you totally do not agree with, and now do you say something to me, or do you just let it be, like we were just talking about?
I say something to you.
And why is that?
Because if, and I'm going to use a personal example of,
Sure.
I'm just thinking back during this past week, and related to my work life, to my job. So if I internalize it, at least for me, it's going to eat me up on the inside, and I'm going to get more frustrated and more angry.
Right, but it was me that did something that didn't align with your principles and your values. So you either have the option of judging me for it and bringing it up, or you can let me be and let me do that thing that doesn't align with your values and principles. Would you say something still, or would you not?
So I feel like there's a way that I can say it without being judgmental.
Okay.
I can be like, hey, Neil, are you aware that you're doing it this way and this might actually be a better way to do it? Or
There
I don't
you
know.
go.
It's just, I think everything is
that is a way to say it non-judgmental.
everything is relative.
So now, but why would you say something in the first place?
Because you care.
If it is affecting, well, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit.
Okay. I wanted to come back with what Jake was saying, and I feel like it's out of love is why we say something to somebody. It's because we love
care
them,
for them.
We love them, and we're like, yo, this is gonna bring about this consequence, whereas if you do this thing, it might bring about this consequence.
Yes.
And when we don't love another being, we're not obligated to say anything to them. But I feel like when we truly love another person or another being or another entity, or we feel obligated to say something to them out of the love that we have for them.
I feel that.
What are your what can you add to that?
I went through that a lot in my life, with family or friends, obviously, but it's been so hard for me. Example for my brother, and him doing the things that he does. I've almost got it down to a science where I can tell him that he is completely wrong without saying it. So if I go, hey bro, I seen you're looking a little skinny today, man. Let's go hit these gyms, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go eat something. I'm hungry. And then he'll laugh, but in his head, he knows what I meant. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't hurt him. It didn't offend him. But I think there's certain ways that you can say something without injuring somebody's feelings, or lift, or even lifting yourself at some point, people feel like. But and that's what I've tried to overcome too, is because just because you care for that person and all that, it's okay. But still, when you're around this person, this person, what they're doing doesn't sit right with you. That means in some way that you feel like it can alter your life.
Yes.
So
exactly.
And if you're around that, and if you're willing to put up with that, you have no direction in life. But if you're willing to say, hey, this is how I feel, but I can move forward. This is just my opinion. And you can give that in the right way. That's where it's at.
I'm totally in agreement with that.
Something that I would like to add to that is, in the Bible, there's a verse that talks about the life and death is in the power of the tongue. So the words that we speak, like even if Neil or James is doing something that I don't like, I can say it in a way, I can use my words in a way that I'm now not degrading or judging you, but I'm actually empowering you and bringing more better change to the situation.
Neil just did that to me the other day. Neil we talked about something, I ain't gonna bring it up, and then he said something, he said, but man, hey, you know, hey, that's all good, brother. It's all like that. But and so he just did that the other day. That's
Awesome.
Good. Yeah.
But I do agree with that. And it almost, when you get to the point where you can just like express yourself to someone and like have it come across like very empowering and like you're helping the person, it almost takes judgment out of the conversation.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
If they know that you have their best interest at heart.
Right.
And that you're not trying to manipulate them or...
Correct.
Yeah.
It really just brings it full circle to feeling the love within yourself and being able to express that love to other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just say Johnny went down to the store and it's like a 40-minute drive, and you know that it's a long freaking drive, and you're like, you know, and you don't want him to go because you want to hang out with him, you know, but you don't want to be mean about it either. So you're like, hey man, Johnny, I took that drive last week, dude. I'll tell you what, man, there was deer in the road dead, and it stank, and that one place is probably closed anyways, you know. And so just be like that, you know, try to shed some other light on it rather than being like,
yeah,
you know, I think you're stupid for going.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that, kind of. Yeah.
Even if there's dead deer beside the road, there's a creek down there you can stop by and meditate for 5 minutes, and that take all the stench of the deer smell away.
Exactly.
And there might even be a rose beside the creek that you can smell. Because remember, you got to stop and smell the rose in your life.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you do.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So with that honesty thing, did you feel you mentioned that you did feel growth. How did that make you feel inside of yourself? Did you feel more peaceful, or how did you feel?
It's hard to describe. I could put it into words, but probably wouldn't even, you know, give you an idea of how it feels. But I mean, if you're in the same aspect, then you already know.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's just like, I always used to be kind of not scared of what I said, but not knowing if I could say something that somebody heard before and it was different story, or you know, or I know this chick and we used to hang out all the time, but I never did. And you know, the guy met her one day and he said, "Hey, do you know buddy?" And she said, "I ain't never met her in my life." But what it did, for me, is it opened my eyes to thinking I am never alone. My eyes, people say nobody sees me, nobody will see me. I'll see me. These eyes are gonna see that. To me, that's enough. I don't need my mom and my dad and my brother and everybody looking over my shoulder and saying, "We didn't see you." But you know, it's like when I do something bad and I'm by myself, I literally think in my head, I can see me. I can see me. So when I speak the same no matter what, because I hear this shit coming out of me.
Yeah. And
I'm not trying to be some garbage dumpster just unloading my stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? Just like you guys, when you guys speak, it's very knowledgeable and it's deep. It's not just, how's the weather today? You know, you guys, when you talk...
Occasionally we do bring up how's the weather today.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you throw some weather in there. You know, what I'm saying is you guys are on a positive movement. You know, you don't just speak dumb stuff. You know, so anyways, what I'm saying is when you get in that mind framing, you're just a natural and you just talk. You're not looking to impress somebody by a story you might have or stretch something out to make it seem like it's something that it wasn't. It changed me. It makes you feel whole.
Do you feel like at the end of the day that you are your only judge? That you, like being dishonest would create that judgment upon yourself?
I would feel like Yeah, because when you do that and you do all this stuff meaningless and all this stuff, then you give somebody another chance to be your judge, to judge. But if when you act, accordingly, you're your own judge.
Then you're a solid motherfucker.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I feel that. Because that's where I'm at in my life, man. I'm like,
awesome.
There's nobody that's going to judge me, man.
Hell
what have I done? That's how I...
Sure.
And it's not cockiness. It's just a pure fact of overcoming who you used to be and knowing who you are now.
That is wonderfully said.
Yeah.
Stay multidimensional. Stay blessed. Continue experiencing.
Peace.